CNBC-TV18.com presents Growth Transformation Discourse in association with MoEngage.
Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18.com presents Growth Transformation Discourse in association with MoEngage. I'm Ritu Bhandari. Nearly 700 million Indian consumers are now on the smartphone thanks to the world's lowest mobile data costs in India. And of course, this means there is a huge digital shift that is underway. And this consumer that's on the smartphone and in the digital world today is actually very, very tech savvy, very well exposed to global experiences, has an increasing spending power, and, if I might say so, is difficult to please. Add to that the complexity, the vastness, and the diversity of a complex market like India, where customer behavior and preferences change at just about few hundred kilometers every time. So what should brands do in this day and age to really charm the consumer, keep them engaged, offer them hyper-personalized experiences in both the physical and the digital world? What sort of customer engagement tools should they be using? How can they harness emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning? And finally, how should they really approach localization of experiences while thinking about globalization of scale? Those are some of the pertinent questions that we are going to be answering here today, and I'm very pleased to be joined by an excellent panel of industry leaders. We are going to be talking about the enterprise evolution, navigating the digital shift with insight-led smart solutions. So let me introduce the panel to you. Starting from my right, I have with me Rahul Sood, Vice President, Head Growth and Retention, CLM Data Science at Chayos. Right next to him, Priyankar Singh, Chief Marketing Officer at Barista Coffee Company. Jaideep Jaiman, Vice President of Analytics and Digital Transformation, VMart Retail, Delhi. Right next to Jaideep, we have Vijendra Dwari, Digital and Online Business Manager, South Asia at Oriflame. Navdeep Singh Saini, Strategic Account Director at MoEngage. Harpreet Singh, Head of Sales and Marketing at Fortis Healthcare Limited. On my left is Gautam Kukreja, Assistant Vice President and Head of Enterprise Solutions, Digital and Technology at Mike's Life Insurance. Udit Malhotra, Head of Marketing at MG Motors. Manoj Srivastav, CIO at Ease My Trip. Abhishek Lal, Head of Commerce, Analytics and Technology at Marks & Spencers. Lokesh Nakra, Head of Department at Contact Center and CRM of Sony India. Megha Jaggi, Vice President, Digital Platform Management at Bharti AXA Life Insurance. Abhishek Tavania, Senior Sales Manager at MoEngage. And Devanshu Bhatia, Vice President Marketing at Oberoi Hotels and Resorts. Welcome, gentlemen, and Megha. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And absolute pleasure to have such a diverse panel here today. As we look at the future, specifically beyond 2024, it is evident that the concept of phygital is going to be increasingly popular. It is already quite popular. Physical and digital experiences today have a very, very blurry line between them. And the customer expectations are always that everything is seamless and the experience doesn't change even if the channel changes. So in light of this, I want quick opening comments, just about a minute each from each of you on, what is the biggest challenge that you have today when it comes to customer engagement, and how are you as an enterprise embracing data-driven and a consistent phygital approach? And Rahul, if we can start with you.
So in our case, we are a cafe business, and the expectation that at least we had from our customers is that they would want to experience talking to our team. What we have seen is as the Gen Zs are evolving, and they are becoming the primary drivers of business. Even within our cafes, what we see is that a lot of customers, our consumers, they don't want to interact with the team. They want to directly place their orders. So what we have enabled is having scanning capabilities through which they can order without any hassle of speaking to anyone. Our app, so customers can place orders via the app, sitting inside the cafe. And what we are seeing is about 10% of our consumers are just ordering from all these digital platforms without even interacting with any of our staff. What we are seeing is that increasingly customers, they are wanting more rewards, more benefits. They are expecting top-notch services with as little money as they would want to spend. What it does is it puts onus on us that we have to rethink the way we are doing business, and at the same time ensure that we are able to delight the consumer, because that is a basic expectation that they have gotten now from any brand that they are engaging with. So the problems are plenty, and the way we think about it is that customer is the center of our world, and whatever the customer demands, we have to keep this in mind and ensure that our processes are designed in a manner that we are able to meet each and every demand of our customers. So that is it.
Fantastic. Priyankar, you want to add to that?
So at Barista, because we are also in a cafe business, and being one of the pioneer and who started the cafe culture in India since 2000, and we are a 24-year-old organization. So physical touch is very important, because that's how a person comes and experience an overall experience at the cafe, whether it's he or she is having a coffee or the food along with it. So how we are changing and evolving from physical to the digital, because that's how the things are growing up. So we have started a lot of things, whether in terms of mobile app ordering or loyalty programs, to connect them and get it engaged. How a people is ordering and how we are knowing that what kind of customers are coming to us. So from last, I have seen couple of years, we have a lot of loyalists who are coming every day to the cafes. And they are coming from last 10 years, 5 years, 2 years. So approximately around 18-20% customers are our loyalists. And more demand and more work happens towards how I can acquire more and new customers. Like Rahul was saying, that more of Gen Z crowds comes in. So how I can get more of Gen Z crowds, because the kind of culture or how we are being perceived, it's like more of a professional cafe, where I see a crowd between 30, 40, 45-year-old people, not Gen Z. So we are working towards them, whether in terms of value pricing, which we are starting now, and because this is what we are not doing, and how we are interacting with them on a different platforms, apart from physical touch, whether it's an app, website, or through different other WhatsApp communication, SMS communication, email marketing. Currently we are not doing, and we are working on that. Different platforms are there. Not only for the customers, but how, because we are a franchise-led business. So we operate 400 plus cafes in India, and 60% cafes are franchise-led. So how we partner with our franchise team, so that at the back end, the system is good enough so that I can create a good experience for the customers. That is very important. Otherwise, customers will not come back to us. So what technologies we are using, definitely we'll discuss in time to come with the franchise partner plus the customers. So that's how we are working towards it, and working well for all the customers, creating good experiences.
Right.
Brewing coffee and brewing happiness together.
Okay, wonderful. Jaideep, big customer engagement challenge.
So at VMart, we are a value fashion retail business. We have almost around 480 stores across India. And since we are situated in tier 3, tier 4 towns of India, the biggest challenge right now I'm facing is to talk to the customers in their own language. So they have different language, number one, they have different dialects, they talk differently. Then another thing that I'm trying to figure it out, it's a really big challenge, is when to talk. Because every customer has a different event to celebrate. They have different life cycles in which they are celebrating events. They have bought different categories from us. So their time to buy is going to come at a later date. So understanding all that complexity for almost around 4 crore of customers, it's a big deal. So this is the biggest challenge for us. However, on the phygital side, we have already understood that the customer is going online, especially this customer, because they are very price sensitive. They know online things are available cheaper, and they're exploring. And while they're exploring, we have made it a mandate for us that we'll be there wherever they are exploring. So we have partnered with bigger marketplaces like Flipkart and Myntra. But at the same time, we have doubled down our bets, and we have kind of merged LimeRoad into us. It was a marketplace as big as Agio before COVID. Now it's a merged entity, and we have implemented scan for size and recommended products at our stores, and it's growing at an exponential pace. In 2 months, we have seen orders rising from 50 to almost around 30,000. So that kind of exponential pace is there. And while we are closely trying to understand how our customer is moving, how our customer is adopting this digital app, we have also laid out ways in which we can make it easier for our customer to actually be in the store, experience the store, do certain things they are troubled with, much easier through the app, like self-checkout, like understanding what offers are there,
Right.
understanding whether this product is on offer or that product is on offer. So there are a whole slew of things that are there on our digital platform, which is limeroad.com now. These challenges are there, still there to understand the customer, because that's the holy grail.
Yes,
Still
that
figuring
is
it
the
out.
holy grail. And thank you so much for sharing that, Jaideep. Vijendra, at Oriflame, what is the typical customer persona and your biggest engagement challenge at this time?
See, the biggest challenge is, I'll start with the COVID period when everybody thought that the customer behavior has changed. So we decided to go completely digital, and we realized very quickly that it is not going to work because the customer still wants to experience the products physically. So the biggest challenge, I will say, for us is that when you are in the categories like VR, nutrition, or color cosmetics, makeup, beauty products, you have to put it on to know how it looks. And the biggest challenge is, how do you do it? Like, yeah, AI can do it, of course. We have tools. We have very recently launched something called a skin diagnosis tool, which is a mix of a vision model and vision and text. So it's a multimodal AI, which scans your face, and within like seconds, it recommends you products which is suitable to your skin and based on your text answer. So this is how we are bringing the phygital alive for us, because then again, makeup transfer is another area where very soon we are going to come out with an app where you can put and change makeups. The challenges that we faced in doing so is matching the exact color tone of a certain product. It doesn't need to look different on different screens, because if the person sees some other color and orders it and the color comes out to be different, it's going to be a big hue and cry. So these are the kind of challenges we keep on coming with. Overall, what is the typical persona of a customer and their journey is that we thrive on word of mouth. Ever since we are a direct sales company, we do not advertise so far. I'm trying hard to convince management to start doing that. But so far, in over 65 countries, we are selling on the basis of word of mouth. I'll tell you the biggest challenge with word of mouth. It's a physical word of mouth. Like, I use a product, I tell him that I like this product. But how do you translate that into digital word of mouth? So that is one challenge we are looking into. And that is related to your data, how your data is managed, and in what form, and how would you translate what a YouTube or an Instagram is doing?
Yeah.
You know, they are a network. We are a network too. We have a network of 2.5 million people globally who are selling our products.
Right.
So now their knowledge base and what they do needs to be digitized. So their word of mouth needs to be digitized. That is the biggest challenge. And we are thinking of ways to do it. One of the ways that we think is using at the back end new kind of databases like graph databases, so as to say, which actually can translate your network from physical world to a digital world.
Yeah.
Then, just like these social media companies, you are having that view of the customer, and then somebody in London buys one product and he bought another product together, maybe my Indian customer is going to buy a similar combination.
Right.
So that kind of a connection and connectivity within the data points needs to be there. So these are the kind of challenges we are facing. And yeah, in the 2024, we are looking to come out with more AI tools and more automated journeys for
Wonderful.
our customers.
We are going to hear all about those journeys as well in just a bit. But quick opening comments also from Harpreet. At Fortis Healthcare, how are you approaching the challenge of customer engagement or patient engagement in that sense? Because especially in healthcare, I think it's really difficult because once a patient has a bad experience with a healthcare chain, they are not coming back because literally your life is at stake. So give us some sense of what you all are up to.
So Mridu, what happens at the end of the day, we keep getting in healthcare a lot of complaints when we're not able to get through a doctor on an appointment, which is the most important thing for a patient who is suffering, having some problems. So obviously you can come to the emergency, but you want to consult a doctor, have a privacy. Most importantly is you need an appointment with a particular doctor. So we have My Fortis app where you can easily get an appointment for any doctor. We have slots available and the pay now options are also available, which you have seen in the COVID times, the post-COVID times. No one wants to come into a queue, have a bill or something. So invoices, everything generated, payment is done online. You get a bill on your number, and when you come at the desk, there is a separate counter, which you just you go to a PVR or somewhere, you just show that code and you just walk away, and you don't have to. Then bill automatically reaches the doctor, all the secretary to him. So after the consultation is done, everyone has he's advised some tests, investigations. So everyone wants to have. I don't need a physical copy. So they need those reports to be delivered to them, digitally reaches to the patient as well as to the doctor. So we have two kinds of apps. So one is for the patients, one is for the doctors. So let's say I'm a doctor, I'm seeing 50 patients today. So I'll have each conversation, perception, EMR, we have a software, we have a perception, plus also the investigations, what was done, so he'll have that. So any time of the day or night, some person has problems or has anxiety, yes, I want to speak to the doctor and know what was my report saying. So he calls him up and he can just say, just hold on, I can just see in the app, and he will get to know what exactly the doctors are saying. So that's the first interface we want. The patient is interacting with the doctor and he gets an answer. The treatment, because no one comes happily to a hospital. So at the end, he wants to a doctor, he has to interact, he gets an answer, what is to be done, line of treatment, always what the doctor advises. But once he gets an answer, he gets satisfied. Yes, this is going to be my line of treatment, these are my reports saying. Yes, it's going to be. Rest is your other things, what admission, if required, what you have to follow up, what everything. First, getting to a doctor, that's the main thing. And now, although we have centralized call centers, we have 29 hospitals across the country. We have centralized call centers, everything. But the app is the most important, what we're pushing in, so that people can easily get to the app, get to appointment with the doctor, and get to interact with the doctor and know what is lined up further.
Right. Okay. Good to hear that. Healthcare to hospitality. And Devanshu, give us a sense of how you are sort of marrying physical luxury that Oberoi Hotels offers to digital luxury for a traveler or for your guests.
We are sitting at a very interesting position, because at one level, it is very evident that you cannot do away without having a very strong digital solution available 24/7 for your customers or guests in our case. However, luxury operates in a very different space. So let me give you a perspective so that hospitality and Oberoi Hotel becomes more cognizant. Let's think of a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton, which are commonly known names for luxury. How many times have we bought a bag costing us a couple of lakhs on a Louis Vuitton.co.in, whatever the website domain would be? At the max, you would want to get some information of the latest products that are available. But the real experience would come in the store, where you have your sensory satisfied, your visual satisfied, you're treated nice. If you're a couple of a particular caliber, offered a champagne, a glass of champagne. So Oberoi's is operating at that space. There is a carrier service that we have, where you can charter private planes. There is a set of hotels, which is both Trident, which is a 5-star series, or an Oberoi, which we like to believe is a creme de la creme kind of a category. Now, at this point, that's where the criticality differs, because at one level you would want to get all that information, but at the same time, of course, you can't go and see a room. You only see those rooms visually, through various apps and everything that we have installed on the website. But speaking to somebody, asking questions, and then the delivery of that experience happening right on the spot. Incidentally, post-pandemic, the growth of digital medium has been phenomenal. It has been over 100%. There has been some change in the behavior of the people, because originally what we realized was that people would come, look at the website as a brand book, would like to get an idea, but at the end of the day, they would want to pick up the phone, call the customer, and make a booking there. With the patterns changing, we've seen people are now more confident and comfortable that after the brand journey, after the brand discovery happens, going through the complete website journey and making a booking there. And I think with changing times, there will be certain new things that we'll see. One last thing I feel is, which nobody has addressed, is the AI part which you had asked in your original question. I think smart segmentation is something which these tools, the Pythons and the Rs, that help us in understanding what is that customer set, what are those various touch points, and then reaching out to them. Of course, the journey started with programming languages. Now there are people who run those languages for you. And in times to come, what Navdeep was talking about, there are tools like MoEngage. We are not a user yet, but there are a couple of similar tools which probably make that journey seamless for the guest and life easy for a simple marketer.
Right. Okay. Good to hear that. And Megha, if I can ask you to chime in as well, insurance, again, a sector where customer engagement, customer loyalty is hard to win, because every tiny incremental value that another company or a competitor offers just results in the consumer leaving. So what is it that you're doing at Bharti AXA to engage consumers for the long term and really ensure that you win their loyalty? And what is your approach to the whole phygital aspect of things?
So the biggest challenge we have in insurance is nobody is really excited to get up and says that Aaj I have to buy a life insurance policy.
True.
So and unlike what you mentioned, I don't even have a tangible product which can be experienced. And third biggest problem is in India, return mein kya milega? That's the question, which unfortunately in insurance, when we try to solve for that, the entire proposition of protection and insurance gets diluted. So with all these challenges, the biggest, and this is common to all insurance companies, the problem we face is customer engagement, a lack of trust, because of, there was a series of mis-selling, and all of us are aware of it. So, and it's a highly regulated market. There are tons of terms and conditions, and the entire onus is on the customer to actually honestly, transparently speak out the truth, because if you don't, the claims are denied. And this is pretty much the problem for all insurance companies. We all have similar kind of products with very little differentiation. Now with so many challenges, how do you stand out and keep your customer engaged? How at Bharti AXA we're trying to solve is, we've realized that we have to build a very customer-centric ecosystem that enables us to have a very omni-channel kind of a strategy, where we can, every time we contact a customer, it's hyper-personalized. It's very context sensitive. So I don't, like you mentioned in your presentation, it's not spray and pray. I'm very clear as to, who I'm talking to, when I'm talking to you, and why I'm talking to you, so that the quality of the interaction is better. By that I mean it turns into a particular CTA and it turns into a sale or a better service. So this is how at Bharti AXA we're focusing more on service as a differentiator, so that we are able to retain more customers, because we believe happy customers stay longer and buy more.
Absolutely, and that's true for any kind of product or service actually, that happy customers come back to you. How does that work at Sony, Lokesh? Again, consumer durables are something that are high value items, perhaps not something we buy every other day. You buy one TV in a couple of years. So at Sony, what do you do to keep consumers engaged post that initial customer acquisition?
So, before telling that what we are doing, it is important to know that how the consumer journey of a consumer durable customer. Consumer durable customer typically first will see the product on the company website. Then he will search the ratings on the e-com platform. And after seeing the rating on the e-com platform, he will go and he will listen some tech videos that how is the performance of that video. Then after listening the video, he may go to some social community. Then after visiting the community, he will lend it to some offline retailer. So all physical and the digital channel is involved into it. And we are offline heavy, no doubt. The entire consumer durable is offline heavy. So to address this, what we are doing is we are doing the unification of these all the data sources. We are trying to build a platform where we can understand when a customer is doing a crawling on the website, what he's looking for. Then when he is listening to tech video, what kind of tech video he is listening for, whose recommendation he is going for. Then when he is looking at the rating, are we good in the rating part on the e-com platform? Then when he's lending to the when he's lending to buy the product, my SFA, my shop front associate, is giving him the same kind of experience, asking the same kind of queries. So collecting all these data at one place and then understanding the behavior, we are doing the segmentation. So this is what so far we are trying to do it, and we're quite successful into it so far. And then basis on that segmentation, we are trying to understand what product we should offer it to him. And then there is a word called attachment ratio in this industry. It's a very common word in the attachment ratio. So we have a bouquet of products, and all products can be customer can buy number of products to increase the home entertainment experience. So to make sure that a person who is buying a 75-inch television must buy a big home theater also. A customer who is buying both product should buy a TWC headphone as well, because he's traveling a lot. Then when he's buying so much, he must be having somebody in the family who is freak to the photography, so he should buy the photography camera also. So to make sure that he has that, to create that kind of zeal into it, we are just trying to do the segmentation first. And I believe so far that LTV, the customer LTV is doing good. And the challenge, if you talk about the challenge, is the legacy systems. Integrating all these touch points and taking out the behavior of the customer. What is the difficult part is the legacy system that we have. I think integrating all those platforms is the most difficult challenge that we are facing off. Right. But I believe with coming up with these with such great platforms, we'll come out with that difficulty as well. So let's hope so.
Yes, absolutely. Well, interesting that you mentioned that, and I'm going to come to Abhishek as well. Global fashion retail, again, you know, Marks and Spencer's, known for a lot of customer engagement programs. The loyalty points program has been a big hit around the world. Give us a sense of what else are you doing to keep your consumers engaged in India and around the world?
So pre-COVID, the business was primarily retail heavy, and post-COVID, the significant chunk of the business is coming from the online channels. So our strategy has been online to offline and offline to online, vice versa, has been driving our own app. So our DTC is mainly driven by the Marks and Spencer app, not so much the website. App has a significant share of business. And when we say the app, it becomes easier to listen to the customers. I'll give you an example. We are leaders in the lingerie segment, and while getting feedback on emails, while people were speaking to our customer service reps, both in stores and online, we found that sizing for bras is a problem. So we came up with a tool which was an online bra finder, which made it easier for people to figure out what product they want to buy. Now, this was quite revolutionary. It's not there. I mean, it's a simple thing, but people were not deploying it. That's where the focus on our products and our customers comes in. Vis-a-vis, if you go to a marketplace, you won't find this kind of a thing there. Then comes about the anticipation of needs. So this is where, whether we talk about ML, whether we talk about AI, or whether we talk about generative AI, I think all these tools only serve up data for decision making, right? Eventually, it is the decision maker who decides what action needs to be taken. So this is the direction we are proceeding in terms of anticipating demand, predicting needs. If somebody has bought, for example, a black trouser, would we like to recommend to that customer a white shirt as well, right? And what channel, what medium we would choose to give that recommendation, what timing we will use to do that. Then also through the app, we have enabled, if you are in the store and you scan a barcode, you don't have your product there, your size there, so it can actually take you to that product on the app, and you can place the order there and then. Similarly, you can process returns, whether it is online or offline. So these are some of the things which we are already doing. I think the next big step comes in when we are actually able to predict demand more accurately and deliver to the customer at the time when the customer needs a product, that specific product. So this is the journey we are on. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, Manoj, moving on to online travel. Again, a highly competitive segment now in India. Lots of websites where we can book travel. Give us a sense of what customer engagement looks like at Ease My Trip, and what's the current biggest challenge that you're dealing with on that front?
Yeah, well, very interesting questions. Basically, Ease My Trip is a first company, I would say, is 100% on digital platform. We don't have a retail. So our basically customer is more demanding customer where they can understand what is kind of product or services we are selling. And you know that there are a lot of competitors in the market. So we have to create a USP. Our USP number one. Number two, how we can engage the customer after sale. Let's say, for example, customer coming to websites and buy the ticket, but that is not end the journey. They have to feed them after sale. What happened? They're going to the airport. They're getting the flight. We have to make sure the flight is not delayed, and because we don't have a product. Airline delay the flight. So we have to inform in advance, hey, your flight is going to be by delay by 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So that we can keep the information customer, inform them. And even though it's a very time sensitive, ecosystem where customer is very demanding, I don't find my, boarding card. And on the way, they need a boarding card. Immediately they can call the call center or even WhatsApp or some omni-channel connection. They want to say, want to demand the boarding card. And we have created omni-channel where any customer, they can touch base with any omni-channel gateway and they can get a boarding card. So whole idea behind this, because we don't have a retail, we have to have focus on digital platform 100%, number one. And number two, we have to create environment where customer is a customer and we take care of the not physical, virtual journey, number one. Number two, most important thing, we should know customer psyche, understanding the customer demand. Because today, customer is very demanding. And our response time should be faster than others. Like say customers, they coming to website very, responsive website. Like say 3 click, they come on the ticket. Not more than 4 click even though. That is a competitor, other thing is also doing. So we make sure customer not get a, long time stay in a website, number one, as soon as they can come and provide the product and services online. That's
Great. Great. Good to hear that. Well, Udit, coming to you, again, auto is a sector, it's a product that's very, very high value. The touch and feel, especially in India, is very real. I don't know, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Are people buying cars online without doing a test drive yet?
We've all been intellectualizing technology, but technology is an enabler. And when MG launched back in 2019, the biggest advantage that MG had is no baggage of legacy ecosystems. In fact, we were the first OEM to launch digital bookings of Hector from day one. And when we are talking about what digital ecosystem brings to the table is, I could not disclose the number, but it is a sizable amount of bookings that we got for Hector were digitally driven, and that's what attributed that to the great success of Hector at that point in time. When we talk about catering to phygital experiences, while during COVID and pre-COVID, digital played a very, very big role, but the phygital experiences that we created were the MG Expert, where even if we are looking at right now at 9 p.m., for example, you want to take assistance or make a purchase decision for your car, you can actually use MG Expert. We also have something called MG ePay, which is bridging the gap again, where if you want to make a purchase decision, make a full payment, get retail finance out within a jiffy of less than 60 seconds, you're home. And also to enable convenience, we've introduced things like V5, which is a digital guided tour for our products, as well as the fact of a product called MG Care at Home, whether you want to take the delivery of your car at home, get it serviced, or any other thing that you want from a service at home perspective. So phygital is coexisting, and like I said, out of the 26 digital touch points that exist, 70% of it is already digital, and the last point of 30% becomes the decision making and the closure point for the products. Thank you.
Gautam, coming to you, you've heard from all the leaders so far, and of course, insurance, like Megha said, not a very glamorous product, not something we wake up thinking about. So give us a sense of what you are doing at Max Life Insurance to really keep your customers engaged and ensuring that renewals keep happening year on year.
Yeah, so good evening to all. So we are into this insurance industry since 2024 years. So our
can you hold up the mic, please?
Yeah. So our even the legacy systems are already revived, and we knew that the communication's importance. So we have already revived all the legacy systems, most of the legacy systems, and we are already on the data lake. We have combined most of the required data for the communication purpose on the data lake, and now probably the engagement, customer engagement, even is that high. Probably if you have anyone of you have experienced purchasing or going to Max Life's website or any of the life insurance website, the communication or the basically help desk team reaches out to you. The proactiveness of that reaching out to the customers is so high now. That is definitely helping us in reviving and the renewals and the new business, all of them.
Okay, Navdeep, let me come to you then. Give us a sense of, what MarTech tools today can really help brands achieve in all these challenges and really mitigate risks for the business.
Yeah, thanks, Ridu, for the question. See, when we talk about marketing, specifically consumer experience, we always think of holy grail of marketing, that I would send the right communication, the right time, with the most preferred channel when the person is expecting. Nobody's expecting your communication, first of all, right? And with that layer, we are thinking that, okay, I want to enable this, right? But there's a huge elephant behind it, and we all know only the pieces that we can see, which enables that holy grail of marketing. To reach there, generally, I believe there are 4 layers that you have to think of. Your data management layer, like rightly most of us mentioned, legacy systems, siloed communication, I want to bring it together. Now, data management layer, it's okay. It's an ever-evolving ecosystem, right? We were talking about on-prem solutions. Now we move into cloud. Now we're saying composable CDPs, data lakehouses. The terminology will keep on evolving. We have to figure out, not go by the evolution, but what works for me, right? It's okay if I'm offline heavy brand and I have my larger part of my database at a single place, it's okay. I can solve that first. Second is the most important layer, is the analytics layer. This is where you start defining your decisions. What decision to take. Like you said, technology is enabler. But technology to enable, you need a foundation. And what to enable? There's so many data points. What all you want to capture? Do I want to bring my transactional details where it happened, what was the product ID, and so on and so forth to your CDP? Perhaps no. I just want a marketing single view because it's built for marketing communication. I don't need to bring in all of my data points. I don't need to keep my data points on a system for probably more than 5 years, 6 years, because I have somewhere data lake or data warehouse because it's cheaper to keep data there. I only query when I need it. Once creating that, then you go to the orchestration layer. This is where you start figuring out what channels are most preferred by my user, and so on and so forth. Now, every layer has to have a value creation job. It won't happen magically, okay, I've deployed everything, now I start getting 2x returns. It's a journey of 2-3 years because you'll sort one foundational layer, but that doesn't mean that I will stop communication, right? Everything is happening parallelly, and everything has to be created as a project. Like before MoEngage, I used to work in a services industry. I think larger job which we were trying to cater to was, how do I do a better value creation of the tech investment? And that's the only thing we were constantly thinking. I can always say, okay, Google search is better than Facebook, right? But Google search doesn't scale, right? You want to run performance marketing, have a higher ROI, but if you don't have brand campaigns, you won't have the bottom of the funnel. Like, you can always talk about, I want a better ROAS and everything. Every specific activity has a specific KPI and specific thing enabling it. I think the moment we start compartmentalizing this, if I have a legacy system, yes, while work with this, I also think of how do I move ahead. I think that's the story, and it's not a 6-month journey or 8-month journey or a year journey. It's a 3-year or 4-year roadmap of digital transformation, and we have to think in phases. What I'm solving now, doing value, okay, next investment, next investment, next investment, and so on and so forth. I think that's the largest summary if I could share.
Okay. Well, I also want to deep dive then into each of your businesses a little bit and talk about consistency, quality, while you scale up your businesses and offer a lot of localized and hyper-personalized experiences. And Rahul, if I can start with you. You said earlier that your entire digital interface is really targeting the Gen Z consumer today. But in India, chai is for all age groups. Everybody wants a cup of tea, pretty much, or a cup of coffee. And I'm going to come to you as well, Priyankar. But give us then a sense of, Chayos has, you claim you have about 80,000 different ways in which a cup of tea can be customized for your consumers. How do you then ensure that the quality remains consistent, the experience remains consistent? You have over 200 stores across the country now. So while you are curating these 80,000 types of different experiences, what makes that customer experience in terms of quality very, very consistent across the country?
Back in the day when we started, one clear problem that we could identify was that even though it is a fact that at Chayos you can get 80,000 different ways, chai can be made by 80,000 ways, but how do you ensure that from one cafe, when you move to 10 cafes, then 200 cafes, then to 1,000 cafes, how do you ensure that that consistency is available all across the country, all across the globe? The first and foremost thing that we did was a lot of energy in the initial couple of years of scaling up was put in to develop the chai bot, which we call as the Monk, which will ensure that our process, even though QSR as an industry is about limited number of items, in our case, what we wanted the customer to experience was that you can make your own type of chai, which we famously call Meri Wali Chai. So the first stepping stone was building that entire chai bot, or the Monk that we call, through which any person who is not that skilled can be trained within a span of a couple of weeks, or rather 2 weeks, to ensure that they can make a customer's their own cup of chai. Once we were able to solve this problem, the next problem that we came up was that whenever a customer walks into into any Chayos cafe, the standard way a customer conceptualizes chai is चाय में अदरक होता है बस, अदरक और इलायची. There is probably one add-on you think of. My chai has more milk. Someone else's chai may have less milk or no milk. We had about 14 different type of add-ons which could be added. So how do we create that awareness that there are different kind of add-ons that can be added? So through a digital experience within the cafe, we were able to create a way where customers are able to understand what are the different type of add-ons which are there. And then we, as Navdeep had pointed out, there have to be KPIs through which you are able to move those metrics. We were able to identify those KPIs through which we were able to first, as we speak today, about 87% of our customers, they customize their chai on their own, which was an abysmally low number back in, say, 5 years back. Once we have reached this stage, the next step was how do we add more and more add-ons so that their chai at a Chaios cafe cannot be replicated at anywhere outside, even at their own homes, which made us move into a direction where we want customers to experience different type of add-ons. Now, again, as we speak, 6 months back, that number was about 30% of the customers. They have tried more than 3 add-ons in one chai cup. This number has now moved to 40%, which is a completely different way of thinking of identifying what are the right KPIs, what is the right way where you are able to move the customer in the direction where you want your product to go. And that is the journey we are onto over, I am assuming, 5 years down the line when we speak again, these numbers which we are quoting 30, 40% will move to 80%. We will have probably, so from 80,000, we'll have a few lakh ways of making their own chais. Right now, an interesting anecdote. So there are about 55,000 ways through which chai has been made in Chaios.
So you are still underutilized capacity of those 80,000 ways.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good to hear that. And may those ways of making cups of tea keep on increasing from tea to coffee. Priyankar, barista, of course, has been an early pioneer of the coffee culture in India from the early 2000s. Today, 24 years on, what has changed in terms of, first collecting the customer insight, and of course you are data-led now, you are taking a lot of insights from physical interactions, from digital interactions, and contrary to what Rahul was saying, you said that there is a lot of focus still on the physical interaction and the older age group that's walking into the cafe. So give us a sense then of, what are some of those unique insights that you get from this data, and how is that data helping enhance that phygital experience for across age groups, and which is the typical age group that barista is now catering to in 2024?
So the typical age group what we are catering to currently, it's beyond 30 years old, but now we are more focused towards the Gen Zs because we feel that yes, they have a different spending power, but they are more price conscious. So how digitally we are communicating to them, like yes, this is what value combos you can get it, how a coffee is being made, the varieties of coffee, because a lot of Gen Zs are about health. Yes, what kind of different health-related coffees we have. So that's what we are coming up in Q2. So changing our beverage menu entirely, because anywhere you go, so people, what about coffee? Yes, cappuccino de do, or Americano, the general terms. But how we are changing them in different ways, different flavors. These are happening through different insight what we are getting through physical interaction with our customers, plus the digital interaction what we are getting, the kind of buying behavior, the kind of research we do with our customers. We see how online is helping us, because we were talking about the technology. So it's very important that the kind of experience you get at the cafe is very good, because you get the fresh coffee. But if you are ordering through online platforms, like delivery platforms, and the coffee is being served after 30 minutes, 20 minutes, it has a different taste. So how we are working towards that through technology and the packaging material, that yes, it's still as good as what you are having in the cafe. So that is very important, because then only you get the repeat customer and repeat orders. And as everybody said that yes, online ordering has been increased compared to what it was earlier, because it's more ease at home, every day, I think everybody on a daily basis, you have 1 or 2 cup of coffee or chai. Mostly these days it's become coffee, I'll say, because any office you go, so yes, they'll always ask. So on digital transformation, at Barista, we have recently launched our loyalty program.
Right.
So we knew that, yes, there are a lot of customers who are repeat to us, and how we can target on a new segment and retain them back to us through different offerings. So that is what the main thing what we are focusing on Q1 and Q2 now. And on what ways and different platforms, how we engage with them, whether it's a push notification or through app, through our website, at physical touch points in the cafes, creating different experiences. Experiences on online medium, whether you are buying through the app, so what different ways coffee is being made, what your coffee has, because when you are at the physical front, you just order seeing the menu and then you will be served.
Right.
But on the online, I can say that yes, this coffee has these things. The kcal, people are very important educated at this, they always see what is the calorie in this coffee because of the health consciousness. So these are the factors what we are getting towards the online so that you get more educated and you feel that yes, what is being served to you. Whereas in terms of price consciousness or the value offerings, we are targeting on those terms now because we knew that yes, on the current last 24 years, we were working well and we are doing good on the good road, running well. But how we can acquire the new one, so those kind of things are happening towards the physical and digital front both.
Okay.
In terms of technology, because we are discussing about mostly how we are engaging with the customers. So because we are more on a franchise-led business, we have a couple of cafes on a franchise model. So how we educate them so that there the experience of the customer don't go wrong.
Right.
In terms of delivery or physically at the cafe or while ordering through the mobile app and then you have the product.
Yeah.
So those working on going on. So whether in terms of learning management system we have enabled. So it's a kind of a certification course because the industry is short with baristas. Barista is a person who make coffee for you.
Correct.
So trained and skilled baristas are short. So we have started a program which will start from June onwards.
Right.
Where
So you are
it's
skilling baristas.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that more and more through technology, how they are linked, because it's an online class plus the offline both.
Interesting. Very interesting. Vijendra, if I can come to you. You spoke about the AI skincare advisor that offers personalized product recommendations, and within seconds, obviously there's an analysis that happens and, 120 plus skin metrics that you look at. Give us a sense then of, the role that artificial intelligence is really playing in driving your repeat business and generating customer loyalty for you. Again, beauty products are a very, very competitive space. So what are your specific strategies to really foster customer loyalty?
See, it's tools like this which is helping us because when you want to show the effect of what you've applied on your skin, it will take some time. But with the help of AI, you can kind of imagine it. And the kind of advancement which has happened in the field of AI with computer vision and all, you can focus down on specific areas of the skin. Like, for example, below the eye, what is the skin discoloration or hyperpigmentation or fine lines, wrinkles. There are so many things you can evaluate. And then basis that, when you start giving recommendation, it really rings a bell with the customer. And also, when you talk about something where you need expert advice, you would want to go to a dermatologist and not somebody who's probably demoing you a product in a store or anywhere else. So how do you then create that amount of trust that a dermatologist is a trained doctor who knows the science behind what they are going to recommend you? So with the AI, that trust has come. When you say that, okay, my tool is based on the top of the class AI technology, then customers build that kind of trust they have automatically in you, and that has helped us in retaining the customers. Another thing is, like you talked about, sir, LTV and customer lifetime value. What happens to the customer in the first 90 days is very important for us. We either we retain him for more than 18 months, we will know at the end of 90 days if the customer is going to stay with us and how much is he going to buy. So all of these kind of signals are being picked from the customer behavior on our platforms. Like what is he ordering, what categories is he interested in.
Yeah.
And while onboarding, we also have a certification process. Like, we have online certifications where we are training nutrition experts to advise our customers on what they have to be taking. And then we have skin care experts also. So we are calling them skinfluencers. So people who know about the beauty business, and they are equipped with our AI tool. They can do really well. That's the idea, and that's how we are taking it forward.
So I'm going to pick up the customer lifetime value that you spoke about. And Harpreet, if I can come to you, there is obviously a need to focus on retention, on repeats. As far as healthcare is concerned as well, we need a doctor more than once in our lifetime for sure. So, the need for improving customer lifetime value and maximizing ROI in that sense on marketing technology investments. So give us a sense of the strategies and the technologies that you are deploying at Fortis Healthcare to really enhance patient loyalty to you, and how is that driving long-term revenue growth for the healthcare chain?
So in healthcare, what happens? So patient. So once a patient gets to you, you have to build it on. You have to make him a family member at the end of the day. He can reach out to you anytime. So once a patient is done, patients are kind of all, we have a word of mouth spreading. Yes, my treatment has been gone. This hospital is good. Normally you will have people saying it, ये लोग तो फोन ही नहीं उठाते. So ये डॉक्टर अच्छा नहीं.
या फिर ये लोग बिल बहुत बढ़ाते
हैं. So everything, lot of people. So retention is first. We believe at Fortis, all healthcare we want all the bigger brands. I'm not talking from a Fortis point of view. Reaching out to a doctor, which I earlier said, which is very important. Once you have reached out to a doctor, you get your line of treatment. Most importantly, we are catering to all India. We get a lot of patients from domestic, but whether it be Patna, whether it be Northeast, whether it be international patients, Europe, Malaysia, a lot of patients from traveling there. Most important thing is that once you are getting the exact line of treatment, you've got an appointment, you come to a hospital, meet a doctor, you got a line of treatment. But there has been a lot of times where people have flown from Patna, Srinagar or any parts of India and come here. They want to get consulted, but sometimes you are not able to physically consult due to travel or a lot of other areas. So telemedicine comes into play. We are pushing a lot of into telemedicine, where we want people to reach out to us with the reports. We have softwares where the reports can be easily shared to us prior. We have a lot of telemedicine centers coming up where doctors are based. They scan your reports and send it to the concerned doctor before your appointment. He can go through your reports and give you a exact line of treatment. But a lot of times it happens, the reports what you're getting it done from a local center are not sufficient and not accurate. A lot of times they've happened wherein people come up from Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, they've come and flown here, they have lots of money and yes, this is the line of treatment. But there have been times they've gone back. They've gone to OT, they were opened up, they've been closed down, yes, this surgery is not possible and you will not. One wonders, I've got so much money, but doctor is saying no. That's the kind of trust you build in that, yes, he came for a surgery, he was in the OT, but he can't be treated. Or this surgery would not be beneficial for him. That's the thing what we create. Coming back to retention, like you said, retention, we see all age groups in healthcare, all patients, any age group can be, whether it be senior citizen, whether it be youngsters. So we have loyalty programs at the healthcare. All brands majorly have it. We have senior citizen cards. We have neighborhood programs for all those things where certain discounts are mentioned. You don't go to registration. You get some awards, some consultations free. Throughout the year, you get one complimentary health checkup done. That is very, very important. And once you get treated, got admitted, we are the one, through SMSs and a lot of digital things, we come back to you and telling, say, you got your surgery done a year ago, you must be doing fine, but your follow-up is necessary. You need to come back to us. If you can't come back to us, we have a lot of OPDs going in Srinagar. Our doctors fly over to Bihar, Patna. Please meet our doctors. Get yourself evaluated. At the end of the day, your health is very, very important. Through SMSs and through social media, we go there. And the information imparting to those people who can be prospects, who can get a problem, some problem can rise to them in any parts of the country. On social media, we are totally active. So we want to retain, give information to people, educate them so that they can. Prevention is better than cure, so we want to do it. Prevention, take care of your health. Prevention, you can do that. If you can't reach out to us online, or reach out to our smaller centers in the country.
Right. Okay, as morbid as it sounds, I'm going to move from life to death and, to insurance. And Megha, like you said, not a very glamorous product, not as fancy as retail or cars or TVs, but again, a product that's very, very essential for us. So give us a sense then of what artificial intelligence or machine learning or other emerging technologies are really doing at the back end for your company to really, first spread customer awareness, because insurance penetration is really low. And then second, once you've onboarded a customer, beyond discounts, what is it that you do to really keep them, engaged?
And I'll add one more challenge to that is, we're trying to retain a customer, but the real moment of truth when actually the claim is paid out, the customer mostly is not there. So, you retain a customer who's actually not going to enjoy the benefits. And that too, I'll answer the question there that giving him the trust that, with our claims percentage ratio, that do not worry, you can trust us. And when you're not there, we'll take care of the family. So that is one thing which we try to reinforce. And this is something which we have to reinforce every year, month, quarter, when he has to come back to renew. And it is not like any e-commerce business where we can send them a lot of discounts. As I said earlier, it's a highly regulated industry. So there are no discounts as such that we can offer them. So the pure simple things that we focus on to retain a customer is servicing, be it during the duration of the policy or at the moment of truth, which is claims. And this we do via a lot of engagements, lot of education. Even though people have bought insurance, it does not mean that they are aware. I can guarantee you, though most of us have life insurance, it's very heartening to know. I would challenge if we exactly know what our policy is, what are the terms and conditions. And you won't even remember the name. You'll probably remember the brand name. So that is one effort that we try and do and engage with our customer, where we educate them, simplify, because insurance is very complicated even after you've bought it. Mostly it's your dad or pados ke uncle who's made you sign the papers. So we try and educate the customer that what is it that you have? Do you have complete insurance with you or not? So this is the baseline, and how we use technology or AI is we heavily depend on the behavior of the customer. So we have built an ecosystem where we have a strong CRM system in place. We've built in-house data lake, and we've powered it with a excellent marketing automation tool, if I may say so, MoEngage. And what it has really helped us is to understand the behavior of the customer and act accordingly. There is a lot of analytics, and I completely agree with you that having the analytics at the same place where you're triggering campaigns or doing any kind of transaction or action, it really helps, because we are able to act upon in real time, versus I trigger a campaign and then I go to another system, see the analytics and come back. So understanding the behavior of the customer and acting accordingly is really important. And the AI already built inside tools like MoEngage is really helping us interact with the customer in a much more smarter way. We don't bombard them with emails or SMS basis their behavior. We either reach out to them or we do not reach out to them. We are also saving a lot of cost because it has inbuilt GenAI, where they also make content inside. So, we save a lot of money on marketing. Though that feature, I think, is yet to come up, but that is one thing that we're looking at. Also, these tools are very simple to use. I think we've been talking about customer, but even from the enterprise point of view, usually setting up such a tech stack requires a band of, group of team members. It's heavy fixed cost. With having such CPaaS platforms, which are very modern and at the same time ready to evolve with time, incorporating AI and machine learning and helping the clients do better. This is a totally DIY application for us. So we have zero fixed cost on anybody coming and coding. It's all real time and it's all DIY. So we're trying to evolve that ways and hoping that we are able to regain the trust. And another thing is, very recently, the regulator has given us a big push with the recent announcement of the guideline of Bima Sugam. So I think that is going to be a real push for insurance industry, and I hope eventually, sometimes in few decades, it becomes glamorous and people say, I want to buy insurance.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to talk about the omni-channel approach that we spoke about earlier, and maybe I can come to the retail brands first. Jaideep, again, omni-channel retail, like you said, it's not easy in a complex market like India. A big challenge is to appeal to consumers in tier 3, tier 4 cities and sort of meet their demands. Give us a sense then of how you are offering hyper-personalization and what is the expectation from a MarTech tool of the future when it comes to hyper-personalization.
We can see omni-channel in two terms. Number one, in fulfillment terms, and another one in terms of customer experience terms. So in terms of fulfillment, what we have done is we have all our stores fulfilling digital orders. Right now, there are almost around 480 stores, and all of those stores are actually fulfilling digital orders. So all that inventory is actually live for all the customers. Now, this inventory is live across 3 platforms. So from any of those platforms, customers can buy the product that they need. Another one is digital experience and digital communication. I take these two together because they are extremely tied up and complex. So in terms of digital experience is still the easier part because you know what use cases you want to build. Okay, you want to build self-checkout. You want to show offers to the customers. You want to show them their customer profile. You want to recommend products. All that is still there. Those products are being built with LimeRoad technology team. On the communication side, it's really complex, and that is why startups like MoEngage exist. It's complex because, as Lokesh was saying, it is about segmentation. It is about personalization. It is about, as the challenges that I'm grappling with, vernacular and when to contact the customer. But what is really challenging is the cost to reach out to these customers. Because if you reach out to the customers over Facebook, it has a certain cost. If you reach out to the customers on Google, it's at a certain cost.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody on the panel knows it. But reaching out to the customer on the first-party data, that is something that can actually bring these costs down and keep you connected with your customer. Now, that's the science part of it. But the art part of it is once you have the CDP platform, once you have everything ready, what to talk. Because that's also important.
Correct.
You just don't want to talk, I have this offer, I have this offer, I have this offer, this is my sale, this is my sale, this is my sale. The customer is not there to give you revenue. Customer has his own problems, her own problems, and you want to be part of that. You want to remember their birthdays. You want to remember when they purchased last. You want to remember what they purchased. You want to remember what would they look good in.
Yes.
And keep informing them about you have got the latest collection. So one of my moments when I felt that I was doing some meaningful work was when I think 1 or 2 years back, I reached to celebrate Diwali at my home. And everybody was there, my family members. It was a large gathering. My Chacha ji was there. And he asked me, what am I doing these days? I told him that I work at VMart. He said, I get a lot of messages from VMart. And I was like, okay, are we bothering you? So he was like, nahin, it's really good. We get to know when is the new stuff coming. And I take all my kids over there. Okay.
So that's your ideal customer.
So that's my ideal. And it felt really good because it was bragging points among all the relatives.
Yes.
But
Good.
apart from that, it felt really nice because those cousins of yours that you really wanted to dress up one day, they are getting dressed up because of your messages. So see, it's about this anecdote. It's about being the part of the customer's life.
Yeah.
I was thinking that possibly I'm pushing too many messages.
Right.
But they were looking for it.
Nice. Okay, so that's a good one. Abhishek, if I can come to you for Marks and Spencer's, M&S UK experimented a little while back, just like, Vijendra spoke about skinfluencers. M&S UK had an AI influencer called Mira, which stood for M for M&S, I for influencer, R for reality, and A for augmented. Now, give us a sense of, how would something like that play out in the Indian context, given the consumer behavior here? And let me tell you, at Network 18, we have an AI anchor taking over our newsrooms. So what is, M&S going to be looking at in terms of AI or virtual reality, augmented reality in the future, inside your physical stores as well as on the digital interface?
Just building on what Jaideep said, I think a lot of messages, customers, yes. So when I wake up in the morning, on my locked phone, there are hundreds of notifications, and I just, in one swipe, delete them all, right? And that is what I think most of the consumers do. So an AI avatar is still far away, but what we are looking at is we have a very big loyalty database, and we have a set of very strong, very big loyal customers, plus new customers which we are acquiring. So it's all about segmentation. I mean, knowing customers is equal to segmentation. I remember a decade back, I used to make Excels of recency frequency matrices, how much was bought, when was it bought, when is the next purchase likely to be. But in today's day and age, we have close to about 10,000 options. Each option has about 50 variables, right? So how would you get quality into your segmentation, right? So big role, I think, for AI to play in that, which actually allows you experimentation, right? You can experiment with a set of customers, with a set of messages, with a set of channels, see how the reaction is, what was the translation, did it increase the LTV, did the customers open the notification or did they not, which actually gives you insights. And therein forms the loop which we are trying to build is for a dynamic evolution, which is not only just marketing-centric, which is not only about customer-centric, which is about how do we create products which customers want. So right now we are in a push model. We have certain set of products which are there in the stores, which are there online, we want to sell those to customers.
Yeah.
How do we move to a pull model where we say, okay, this is what the customers are looking for. We analyze multiple behaviors across different channels and say, can we look at these products going forward? So AI has a big role to play considering the vast amount of data involved, whether it is customer buying behavior, whether it is the attributes, whether it is the sheer width and depth of the range which we offer. So that's where we are looking for innovation and building our business going forward.
Right. Okay. So while we are talking about the future, Manoj, if I can come to you, what is the travel of the future going to look like for us as consumers? And of course, Ease My Trip is a digital native business, no physical presence. Again, how do you then tap the age groups that are not that tech savvy in India, or is that not your market at all? And secondly, what is the role that generative AI is going to play as you create revolutionary product innovations for us in the future?
Yeah, so basically, first we adopted the AI. AI is not luxury item now. So it's a necessity today. We are, after immediately pandemic, immediately we introduced AI to start with a small piece of the automation, which help us to, reduce your operating costs as well as call reduce. Because ultimately, a lot of call coming to call center and the repeated question asked by customers. So that is handled by bot now. Now coming back to generative AI, we can see very interesting future in generative AI, especially travel tourism domain especially. I tell you example, couple of things like say, generative AI, what generative AI is today, you asking the certain, I want to travel from here to some Miami or some location. As a normal question you ask, but you don't know what kind of visa required on the transit visa, maybe in between some document required from when you're landing in the airport. So those information very informative, readily available. Hey, you are going for Miami, make sure you have a transit visa. That information should be very, very handy. And all the accumulate creating your LLM is a big challenge today. But yes, this is a way forward we can do that. Secondly, when you're going from any destination, and the customer doesn't know what is around, what is time, local time, what time of landing, right? What sightseeing, what is a sellable product around them. Those things you can upsell. So that can be create an ecosystem where you can sell all the product where you have LLM. When you create a LLM is journey actually. When you complete journey, end of the day, let's suppose after 5 years down the line, you can see generative AI is going to be major role playing entire ecosystem, especially travel domain I'm talking about. Because, we have a lot of experience getting connected with the tourism board, local tourism board. And, tourism board, we are working very closely with them. And we understand national level of requirement. When you landing in particular country, so you should know, customer should know what exactly the total, requirement. Today, you can go and Google, find out Google. Google is not 100% authentication information.
Right.
So here we are giving the authenticated information, what time to travel, what time to go, what is the time for travel and time for land there. That's very important. And most important, from the legal perspective, we should be allow them what time you're going, make sure you cannot do or you can do some certain thing in local requirement. Because every country have some other challenges, and what we are doing in India might be they are not applicable for those countries. So those things also we are learning the customer in advance so that customer get ready about that.
Right. Okay, so that's one interesting use case of Gen AI, and I'm sure there are many others amongst us here. But while we are on the subject of travel, Devanshu, if I can come to you, give us a peep into the future. What is the Oberoi Hotel of the future going to look like for your guest or a traveler, a local traveler or an international traveler? We already have experiences like a check-in happening before you reach the hotel online, or customized systems once you reach your room. There's a television welcoming you, your name on it, and your customized preferences. How much more personalization will there be in the future? What is the next frontier that you're looking at cracking for the consumer of tomorrow?
Let me just quickly give a crash course in terms of what are the broad segments that are existing today, which also forms a challenge. There is a direct customer, there is a business customer, there is a MICE or a travel trade customer. Now, as a user, I can make a booking via my office and they will use my office ID. I can make a booking through a OTA, which will be considered a direct booking, or I can directly call up the hotel and make the booking there. Now, for me, I am getting the service, I am looking at the brand, but operationally, in the background, I am now 3 different people. In the future, I would like to believe that as IoT takes a bigger step, hotels, and this is not an Oberoi problem, this is an industry problem.
Yeah.
I would be recognized as one person. Of course, we are doing it manually these days. In future, this will be done in an automated fashion. At the beginning, when I enter the premise, I would be recognized with who I am, what do I like, what are my eating preferences, what are my drinking preferences, do I like a hard pillow, do I like the curtains to be drawn in the evening, do I even, at 7 o'clock, do I want a bucket of ice in my room automatically? Everything will be not requested any further. I would like to believe everything would be controlled on a phone and applications. Somebody was talking about push and pull. I think Abhishek was talking about that. I think this is where the customer would not be requesting. This will not be happening offline. Everything will be automated and seamlessly integrated.
But what about the human touch then? Because Indian hospitality is famous for the human touch. So how do you balance that automation of everything, but still making a person feel at home when they come to the property?
So hospitality is about human touch, no doubt. But at the end of the day, to ensure that that enablement of that human psyche happens, you need some information to be provided to that person. Now, for instance, when I get into the hotel, if our dharma is to, fold our hands and bow down and say hello or a namaste, depending on your nationality, that wouldn't change, right? But if the same person goes to that particular guest and says that, look, this is 7 o'clock, I think this is the time for your coffee, or this is 7 o'clock, maybe this is a drink that you like, and we have seen in the records that you're a whiskey drinker or a vodka drinker, and without any saying, you give the first drink. That excitement, that delight that brings to the table would be far more efficient than what it is.
Right.
We are in the process of opening close to 50 more hotels in the next 3 years for both Oberoi and Trident. The whole idea is scale. Now, when a company scales up like that, when you have those pieces sorted, you can maintain a consistency with experience, and that can only happen when you use the right technology and the adoption of IoT into that particular service.
Right. Okay. So, Udit, I want you to add the auto perspective to that. The cars of the future, we are already talking autonomous driverless cars, autonomous vehicles. We are talking about, there's a huge push for electric mobility. What more would you add to that from a consumer perspective and from your own brand's perspective? How is the MarTech toolkit going to evolve to meet those changing consumer preferences?
See, so again, there are 3 parts to your question. I think first is MG is an auto tech brand. We've championed the CASE acronym. When you talk about connected, autonomous, shared electric, I think MG has been at the forefront of all of that. A sizable amount of vehicles. We've just announced our future roadmap with the JSW Group as well, where we are talking about our commitment towards building entire ecosystem for EVs, focusing on NEVs. So definitely, if the infrastructure of the country supports NEVs, it is bound to grow in the future, and that's what we are committed to as a part of our roadmap. Now, coming to the personalization part, I think, like I said in my previous point, 70% of the discovery happens online. We are in the business of a content to commerce journey. And what we believe is this entire industry is driven by third-party advocacy. So whether it's media, whether it's influencers, whether it's customer advocacy, cars, I don't know who said it, but it's all about word of mouth. So it's all about how that experience or the exciting experience, I say, is being spreaded through the entire word of mouth advocacy. So that's our biggest focus. And when we are talking about personalization and MarTech, honestly speaking, pre-purchase, there may be a lot of engagement touch points, but post-purchase, most of our auto products come with a 3 to 5 year warranty as standard.
Right.
Now, your only touch point of engagement or intervention in that point is the service period. So how you're ensuring the customer preferences with the vehicle life cycle working in the right dimension is the service piece. And the irony of the situation is, by the 5th year, with the growing dispensable income that we have in our country now, with the youth, with Gen Zs, by the 5th year, you're trying to make a change of your car. So how do I retain that customer with MG is something that personalization or MarTech solutions can drive. How am I ensuring the service experience to be great? All the things like service booking, service feedback, scheduling of test drive, home test drive, it's there. But is that really the adoption? You still speak to a sales consultant, you still speak to a call center. Yeah. So the fundamentals I don't think need to be forgotten, like training, like manpower availability, like the knowledge on the product. And one brand that I always appreciate here is Apple, where you have a product genius. So there also at MG, we have built product geniuses for each car line, so that when the customer is coming into the foray of things, you're interacting with the product genius. So fix the fundamental first. Like I said, content will enable personalization, etc., but the decision making happens on ground.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, that's well said. Finally, let's talk a little bit about measuring success, because whatever cannot be measured cannot be improved. So Lokesh, if I can come to you, what are the standards or the benchmarks that you use to measure success as far as customer engagement and retention are concerned at Sony? And how can businesses then really maximize their own potential vis-a-vis the time and the resources that they're willing to put into this?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. And in consumer-driven industry, it is very, very important to measure all these factors. And so, beside this traditional way of measuring the customer success like NPS and CSAT, we have been doing this since almost ages now. And but now I think it's a time to move it to the in my previous thing also said, the customer LTV. So let me first tell you how the transformation is happening in the families now. Earlier, I should say the parents will decide who will buy what TV or what electronic item we will buy. But now I think the parent will only swipe the card. They will not decide. Similarly, if I talk about the other electronic item as well, like if I say camera, earlier camera means photography. The photographer will buy the camera, or Max if you have. If somebody is really serious about the photography, he'll buy the camera. But now the photography is already defined in many parts. It can be a wedding photography, or it is a pre-wedding shoots, or wedding photography, or you can say wildlife photography. Yeah. So there are many various ways of doing the photography in these days. So this has been taught at the school level. So Gen Z is now taking a part in the you can say in the buying capacity of the customer. So to basically to engage them, it is very, very important to gauge their way of understanding the product. So what we are doing is we are trying to do the attachment ratios, that if your customer is buying a 75-inch television, he can also buy a high-end home theater. So we are trying to make him giving a piece of advice of that as well. And measuring that, we always see that what is my attachment ratio in that case. That if I've sold 100 televisions, at least greater than 50 inches, how many customers actually purchase my home theater? And if he has purchased the home theater, how many Gen Z in the family had bought my noise cancellation headphone? That's the thing we are monitoring very closely when it comes to the customer LTV.
Right.
Yeah. So there's another.
So getting entire families into the fold, basically.
Yes, of course. We have to.
Right. Okay, Navdeep, final word to you. What is the MarTech toolkit of the future going to look like? What sort of new innovations should we expect from the MoEngage stable in the near future?
MoEngage is the future. I think I try to establish that. But I think it's an ever-evolving, we still in India talking about CDPs, while the Western world is saying composable CDPs. And they've moved on. And they have built technologies wherein they're not even using CDPs anymore. How I see the future is, again, in those 4 layers. I think a lot of pieces will evolve quickly. Some pieces might not. But I think always, if we see the picture in those 4 layers, I think we'll be able to kind of compartmentalize our decision making, where to invest and when to invest. I think that's the only I see from that point of view. And within MoEngage also, like we have principal product manager who's probably working on data management layer, while there's a team working on how can I have a better CDP, identity stitching, one-to-many mapping, and so on and so forth, which a typical CD does. At the same time, the data management layer, the product team is also thinking, how can I become just a querying layer on a data lake? So I'm trying to coexist with the evolution, but I'm also trying to be available for the legacy ecosystems. So each layer has to be thought through and accordingly kind of build our digital transformation journey.
Right. Abhishek, Tavanya, you want to add to that?
Is that instead of looking at different modules, so data as a different module, I think one single solution where you do not think of tools as a campaign management tool. So you understand the customer first, understand their overall behavior, and you center your overall communication strategy around customer. So customer becomes the center, understand where they are in the funnel, and obviously automate journeys for wherever they are in the funnel. So it will fundamentally put customer at the center and communication as a layer over that.
All right. Well, that brings us to a close of this very, very exciting session. Thank you, everyone, for really joining us here and sharing your very valuable insights into how you are evolving as the digital shift happens in India and how different brands, B2C companies, are keeping their consumers engaged and continuing to win over loyalty. That's a wrap of this special session. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.
CNBC-TV18.com presents Growth Transformation Discourse in association with MoEngage.